Hi, welcome to Tangeless Oracle. So today, it's not a oracle reading or anything today, but this is going to be just another additional part to a video I did earlier when I said lessons of a mother and some things that my mother taught me. So today is going to be episode 2, okay? And it's going to be short. I'm not going to make it long. So the last time I talked about having your own identity. And so I want to spin off of that because this is like the next part or the continuation of that. And in order to have your own identity, you have to be able to think for yourself. Okay. So you can't follow what other people say or do because the majority says it's okay. So if you have 80% of the people agreeing with this thing, and you have 20% of other people saying they agree with something different. A lot of times people get the group mentality, the group brain, and say, well, since 80% of the people believe this to be correct, true, or right, then that must mean that it's correct. But it doesn't necessarily always mean that. But that's what most people go with, the majority. And that's what I call a group brain or group. But that's why a lot of times people go into peer pressure because they got to follow what everybody else does. And they never think about, okay, is it right? Because part of having your own identity is establishing who you are as a person and what you believe in, your moral standing on certain things. So, in order to accomplish that, you have to be able to think for yourself. What is the standard for you? What is the standard that you carry morally, like for your integrity, your morality, your who you are as a person? In order to establish that, you have to have your own mindset, and so that is the next thing. And then thinking for yourself is also the law of mentalism. So everything begins in the mind, and you're responsible for your mind. And if you don't filter what you take in, or you don't look at what it is that you're taking in, you'll end up living out the thoughts, emotions, and feelings and behaviors of other people. And if you're living and thinking based off others, then you're not doing it for yourself. So you can't have your own identity with somebody else's brain, with somebody else's thoughts, or with somebody else's feelings. So you have to be able to think for yourself, form your own opinions. I'm not saying that you can't gather information from other people to see if what you believe is valid or if it holds true. There's nothing wrong with that. But having everything that you see other people doing and just following that blindly is not being able to think for yourself. It's not going to lead you to having your own identity. It shouldn't even matter if you're in a room with 300 people and those 300 people are telling you, you know what, you should think differently. If it goes against what you say that you stand for and your morals, then it doesn't matter. You should be able to stand in that room with those 300 people, and tell them, no, this is what I believe and this is what I want to stand on. But many people can't do that. Many people will just take what other people say. Well, I thought differently, but everybody else is saying this and everybody else is thinking this. So obviously everybody else is right and I'm wrong. But nobody ever says just because those 80% of people are wrong, those 20% are right. Nobody ever does that. Because most people have group mentality. They fall for peer pressure. They don't want to be the outcast, the outlier. So they they just follow what other people do and what other people say without thinking Is it correct? Is it true? Is it what I need to be doing? Does it align with what I'm trying to do in my life? They don't do that. So that's the other part of it. You know how your parents used to tell you, like, oh, if such and such said jump over a bridge, when you jump over the bridge, that's what they were trying to tell you. Think for yourself. Figure out what it is that you want to stand for and what you want to be about and how you want to be represented before you just follow blindly with someone else. So that's just basically all I wanted to really touch on today was being able to think for yourself, and it goes along with the law of mentalism. Okay? And like I said, in order to ground yourself spiritually, you have to create who you want to be. You have to create that for yourself. Instead of, because we're all a collective, but you have to be an individual too. You have to be, you have to be yourself. You have to stand for something. You have to create the person that you want to be known for, the person that you want to be seen as. So that's what I wanted to touch on today. Like I said, just going to be short today. And then the next one, I'm going to talk about something else. So thank you for joining me today. I hope this little lesson, so to speak, or this short video can kind of help you try to see some things in a different way. I don't never try to tell somebody else what to think. I give you my opinion, I give you my thoughts, and I want you to form your own opinion of what it is. Thank you.